Hello and welcome to this module where we are going to be discussing the different types of software that can be found on a computer. There are two main categories of software, namely system software and application software. System software is general purpose software that is used to operate computer hardware and provides a platform on which application software runs. In other words, system software is the basic software that the computer requires in order to function. Under system software, you also find different categories like operating systems and networking software. The operating system is the software that runs the individual computer or laptop on your desktop. On the other hand, networking software allows two or more computers to be connected in a network. Let's now talk a little bit more about operating systems. An operating system is the underlying system software that runs all of the computer hardware and software. So in other words, the operating system actually operates the hardware of the computer, and it also runs all the other software that you install on your computer. There are many different operating systems that were created by different developers. For example, Microsoft created the Disk Operating System, or MS-DOS, which ran the very first PCs. On the other hand, Apple computers created their own Mac or Macintosh operating system. There are also a lot of other operating systems that have been developed over the years by different programmers. The operating system itself does not perform any specific task that the user would wish to execute on a daily basis, for example, typing a document or doing the accounts of the organization. It simply provides a platform that allows the user to install different programs for performing different tasks. So these other programs for performing specific tasks are referred to as application software. The operating system also coordinates all the activities and instructions the computer is running. For example, when you give an instruction to print, the operating system is the one which knows where the printer is, and it performs that printing task. Let's now talk a little about application software. This is software that is designed for a specific application or use. For example, if a user wants to type a document, they need an application software called a word processor. If they want to do the accounts for the company, they need an accounting application software. So there are a number of different types of application software, such as word processors, spreadsheets like MS Excel, database management systems like Microsoft Access, Oracle, Informix, and many other database management systems. You also have accounting systems, human resource management systems, graphic designing systems, engineering systems, as well as health information systems. While there are many different types of operating systems, the most common are the Windows operating system from Microsoft: MS-DOS, Unix, Xenix, and the Mac OS. There are also operating systems for mobile phones, such as Android from Google, the Apple iOS, as well as the BlackBerry operating system. An operating system can either be single tasking or multitasking, and it can also be single user or multi-user. A single user operating system is one where only one user can operate the computer at a time. On the other hand, single tasking means the computer can only run one task or program at a time. If you were typing a letter and you suddenly needed to send an email, you had to save and close the letter and open the program for the email. When Microsoft first created the disk operating system for the PC, it was a single user and single tasking operating system. So only one user could work on a machine, and that computer could only perform one task at a time. On the other hand, we have got multi-user and multitasking operating systems. So a multi-user operating system is one that allows two or more people to be connected to the same computer and work simultaneously without interrupting each other. So the same computer processor can handle more than one user at a time. A multitasking operating system is one that can run many programs or tasks at the same time. You can switch from one program to the next without having to close the first program. So the Windows operating system is an example of a multitasking operating system, because you can have many programs running in different windows, and you simply need to click on the window that you want to activate at any particular time. So examples of multi-user and multitasking operating systems would be Windows, Unix, the Mac OS, and Xenix. Operating systems like Unix and Xenix were created in the early days where people were using mainframes. So you'd have this one big processor where you have got many different terminals connected to it. So the terminal itself was not intelligent. It means it did not have any memory of its own, and it did not have any storage. It had no hard drive on it. So the only thing that was on the terminal was just the screen and the keyboard. So it was like you are having one PC and you have got many people connected using different wires to that PC. Another distinction between operating systems is whether they are text command or graphical user interface operating systems. A text command operating system is one like Microsoft disk operating system that required the user to enter commands for everything that they wanted to do. The user had to know the names of all the commands for opening, copying, printing, or deleting files. For example, the user had to type del or del, then put a space, and then write the name of the document, like del letter.doc for deleting a Word document. This required a lot of learning on the user's part. The PC or laptop running the Windows operating system still has Microsoft DOS as the primary or the foundation for the operating system. What they simply did was to change the interface, in other words, the way that the user interacted with the MS-DOS. You can still access the MS-DOS command prompt from the Windows operating system. All you have to do is go to your Start button and type command in the search window. So this works regardless of the version of Windows that you have. So my command prompt appears on top there. Now I go into the MS-DOS command prompt. So you can see that it is showing me the folder where I'm currently working. Examples of the MS-DOS commands are dir, which meant directory. So directory is like searching for the files in a folder. It simply says list for me the files in a folder. So if you typed dir and pressed enter, it now shows you the list of files or folders. So if you see a dir, it would show that this is another folder, but if it was just having a name without the dir, then you'd know that this is just a simple file. So if I wanted to change a folder, I would simply type cd, which means change directory. And if I want to go back to my root directory, I press the backslash, and then it goes to the C prompt. So you can see that there was really need for the user to know all the commands that do different things. Like you needed to know how to copy a file with a copy command, or how to delete a file with the del command. But these days with Windows, you do not need to know all these commands because we now use a graphical interface. When we talk of a graphical interface operating system, this is a system like Windows that uses graphics, images, and text to help the user identify what they want to activate. The Windows operating system still uses the old MS-DOS commands, but they are hidden behind the icons. When a user clicks on an icon, the Windows passes a command to the DOS system. As a result, the user does not need to know the names of all the commands for opening, copying, printing, or deleting files, for example. So for the rest of the course, we'll be using the Windows operating system. The Windows operating system derives its name from the rectangular windows that the system uses to display content. As you can see, this page is in the form of a window. So this window is running this particular page. Because Windows is a multitasking operating system, it can run more than one task at a time. For each program, file, or folder that you open, a new window is opened. So for everything that you open in Windows, a new window is opened. You can have as many windows open as you wish, and you can switch from one window to the next in order to change the program that you are working on. So you don't have to close one program in order for you to switch to the other one. After you log on, the desktop is the main screen that you see, and it gives you access to all the features and functions of the computer. So a typical desktop would look like this one, where you've got a number of icons. You've got the start button, you've got the taskbar. So I'm going to switch to my own desktop, and then we continue to discuss different functions on the Windows operating system.